Hi everyone and welcome back. You're watching The Market on ET Now. Well, while of course there has been a nice uptick in vehicle sales, especially in these last 2 months, a good recovery after the second wave glitch, the one segment that's actually seeing an even faster and smoother recovery is the second-hand car segment or the used car industry. So to talk about that and more, I have with me today Mr. Amit Jain, the CEO and co-founder of CarDekho.com. Amit, thank you so much for taking our time and joining us today on the show. So yes, while, brand new cars and first-hand cars have been seeing a lot of traction, do you think that the second-hand car market is outpacing and outperforming that?
I think both are linked in my view. So you'll see a great demand on new car and you'll also see supply created from those exchange vehicles people upgrade, right? So they're both linked. As you can see, new car is also doing very well, new auto segment, and there's more demand than supply. And we're clearly seeing a lot of traction on used vehicles. Used vehicle more so because they have 3 cycles to go before they come. So we have got a ratio of 1:1.4 now on the new to used sales. So around 4.4 million vehicles, used vehicles are selling this year. Clearly a growing market, and obviously a lot of supply is being created because of the new car sales uplift. And I think one primary reason also is the safety that people want after the COVID second wave around. And the first wave also initiated a similar trend, and second wave more prominently so. We're seeing a lot of interest in used car buying behavior now.
All right. So do you think you could help us with a number perhaps? For example, your own platform, what's the growth that you have seen?
We've seen almost 30% year-over-year growth from last year to now in terms of number of used car buyers who are coming. An interesting phenomenon is that we're seeing almost 20% uplift from the tier 3s and tier 2s, right? Smaller towns. It's not just metros which are contributing to this growth. So it's an interesting time where you can actually see geographically India is actually getting a better car penetration as well through used vehicles.
Sure. Amit, given that the used car industry has seen a very big disruption, where is it that you would say that you have competitive advantage, wherein you can try and gain further market share than you already have? And if you could also tell us, given that new cars are getting only costlier, you see this as a permanent shift wherein more and more consumers are going to try and go in for used cars as opposed to new cars?
I think as the new car gets more expensive, used car also have a ripple effect because the same model becomes more expensive in the used side also. It's not like they're independent. The pricing is also determined by what is the current value of the new car. People who buy used are value seekers, and they have a tendency to realize that this buying a used engine is not going to go down. Engine quality has gone great. So clearly, the used car buyer is a value seeker in India, and there are many people who buy the first used car in entry-level segment for the fact that they want to try out 2-3 years for used and then go to new. Now with us, CarDekho as a brand coming up with assured offerings like making sure that you'll get a great quality car. We are refurbing the car ourselves before we sell. The ambiguity around used cars needs to be removed, and I think that's what's going to create a more brand trusted used car. We are working towards that only. We refurb all cars that we sell. In terms of getting more market share, the question you asked me, it is a simple game of creating more supply and refurbing. We have now started to sell cars directly to consumers. In CarDekho Assured, the cars can be bought online, in fact. And to increase the market share there, we'll have to unblock our refurb capability because that's what's choking us right now. And city by city, we are building factories to repair and maintain these vehicles before we sell them out. That's what creates real value to the end consumer. So my view would be that we just need to get the refurb centers in place and get larger distribution to get market penetration.
Interesting. Yours, Amit, is a digital business. How much of rural India actually participates in this big online change that we are happening, wherein people are buying cars and used cars in particular online?
Right now, it's not that extreme, but people do research online, but a lot of it is offline. In our platform also, people are not buying online. Even in metros, people don't really buy online. What they do is they reserve the car for a small amount, token amount, and then they see the vehicle and then pay. So it's still being used as a more platform which is used for discovery of cars online. And since a car buyer is a evolved cohort, what is happening is that even from tier 2, 3, 4, all people come online before they buy a car, and that clearly is visible. In new cars, 95% penetration before consumer buys the car comes online. In used, there's a 84% penetration before he buys a car, basically. So the research is online, a transaction is offline. So you have to bridge the gap between online and offline journey, and that's where the key moat lies.
All right. I just want to come in here with my own personal experience of using a car. Right, last couple of years, almost a couple of years, not barely used the car. I think a lot of people would be coming to you with cars that they've not used. Are you seeing a reduction in the age of the old cars that you're seeing for resale? That's the first question that I have for you.
Yeah, I think we're clearly seeing that, Adesh. The holding period earlier would be around 6 years. Now it's coming down to 4.5. So clearly there is a momentum towards rotating the cars faster, which increases the supply and in turn the used car business.
So in terms of volumes, it's a second question. Do you anticipate that it's going to go up significantly now that people are coming to the showrooms? Or do you think that this is more or less what you're seeing? 30% is par for the course?
Look, I think the used car market is bound to grow at a 15% CAGR year over year. So you have a pent-up demand that will get released. But year over year, you should expect that for next 5 years, you're going to see a 15% CAGR over 5 years, right? Which practically means the used car volume will double from a 4.4 million to around a 8.5, 9 million is what you should expect. Basis the cars that have already been sold, because to predict the used car market, all you need to do is go 4 years back and see what cars were sold, because that's a rotating cycle and we're already sitting there where we know what was sold 4 years back. So it's very predictable market as long as you know the rotation period. The first cycle happens at 4.5. If you know that, then you can just divide it by the car park and get the numbers out. So it's very predictable that it's going to be around a 8 to 9 billion market in next 4 years, and that's what's exciting all of us to enter this space and go about selling used cars to consumers.
Absolutely. Amit, thank you so much for taking the time. Wish you all the best for the rest of this year as well.